Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Star Wars The Black Series 3 3/4 inch Rey Walmart exclusive figure. Okay, you guys, so looking here at the packaging, we have more of the same Walmart exclusive 3 3/4 inch Black Series packaging style. The figure and its accessories are nicely showcased within the packaging. You get an image of Rey on the lower right, and then it says Rey Jakku on the lower left. The side gives you a glimpse inside the packaging to see the side of the figure, and it says, once again, Rey. There's also like an interesting shadowing. I think it says Rey, but it's just kind of very faint, and that seems interesting because I hadn't noticed that before on these. Opposite side is just red and once again says Rey. And then there's the back. It says Rey Jakku, and it says Rey is a resilient survivor, a scavenger, toughened by a lifetime of dealing with the cutthroats of the harsh desert world of Jakku. And then you get the little portrait of her there again. It says Disney, Hasbro, etc. And here's a look at Rey out of the packaging. And my first impression is that she looks okay. It's not an exact likeness to Daisy Ridley, but you know, for an action figure at this scale, it does look pretty good. I had bigger problems with the figure than that, and the first thing that I'm seeing here is that the arms just look a little bit long. I think what it is that the biceps are a little bit longer than they're supposed to be, and it just kind of gives her a very lanky appearance. Besides, though, that she does look good. I do feel that she's a little bit on the skinny side and definitely looks a bit famished, but you know, by and large, it does look pretty good. On the back, the outfit does look quite nice. Seems to have a pretty similar look to what it appeared like in the film. It almost looks like there's a little bit of wind, maybe kind of billowing the lower part of her drapings, which is interesting. And then being part of the Black Series, she does have quite a bit of articulation and comes with several accessories. Give you a close-up here of the face. I do think that it looks okay. Again, not a whole lot like Daisy Ridley, but I think that's mostly because of the paint. From the side, I think it actually looks a good bit like her. But from the front, it just, I don't know, the makeup maybe is just a little bit too much. Look at how rosy her cheeks are. Not only that, but I don't know, there's just something about the way they painted it that doesn't really make it look like the Rey from the film. That being said, the paint is actually very clean on the figure. You can see that around the hairline. It looks really good. The eyes are painted very nicely. Eyebrows, lips, all that's done very, very well. It's just that the way they painted it, I think, just prevents it from looking a whole lot like the actress. Now looking underneath her nose, there's actually a little black spot you can see there on her left nostril. I really don't know how that happened. It's obviously some runaway paint, but I guess if you look at it from straight on, it's not as obvious. You can kind of still see it, but oh well. The hair does look very good. It's very nicely sculpted and very nicely colored. And again, the rest of the outfit I think looks very nice on Rey. They did a good job with that. It's just hard for me to get past these proportions. The arms are just super, super long, and it's just these biceps are incredibly long, as are the forearms. So she just looks very lanky, but I mean, the costume itself, if we just focus on that, looks very nice. It's nicely sculpted, and the coloration is quite good. And for the most part, I do like what they did here with that. Now, you do see that she is wearing gloves, and that's kind of a bummer. Most of the film, Rey obviously didn't wear the gloves, so the fact that they gave us probably the 1 or 2 Black Series Reys they're going to do in this scale and gave her gloves is kind of annoying to me. And I really wish they would have just given her the normal hands. I kind of know why that is, and I think it ties into her accessories, but, you know, it's still kind of annoying. The legs look quite good. You can see she's got, you know, fleshy legs in here, and they're sculpted pretty nicely. There's a little bit of paint scratch right there. But, I mean, they do look pretty good. Unfortunately, the joints, you can see that they colored them like the same color as the outfit, which, you know, they should have been flesh tone so that they were less obvious, but I guess that's not too noticeable. The same with the boots. They look good, but why did they paint the joints like this light color? I mean, that's just not good. They should have been the same color as the boots, so, you know, that does kind of affect the aesthetic, at least to some degree. In the way of articulation, Rey has a ball joint here at the head, and it's a nice ball joint. You do get really good range of movement there. She's got hinging at both of her shoulders, so you can bend and pull them outward, and they move pretty nicely. You get hinging at both of the elbows, and she can achieve a full 90 degrees, which is great. She's got bends and swivels at both of the wrists. She's got what might be like a mild ball joint here at the waist. And I say mild because really all you can do is twist it, but I mean, it does kind of move upwards and downwards as well, just a little bit. She does have ball joints at both of the legs, at the hips, but they are a little bit restricted, especially on the left side because of her outfit. The right one actually moves out all the way, which is great. She has hinging at both of her knees. And again, they didn't paint those joints. And she's got hinging at both of her ankles, no ankle pivot present. And again, why didn't they paint those? Now, Rey actually does come with quite a few accessories. The first of them being this little desert scarf that she wore at the beginning of the film. And it's got her Stormtrooper lens, goggles there. And it seems to be a pretty nice accessory. You get some extra paint detailing there on the side. And we'll go ahead and put it on Rey. What you want to do is go ahead and pull off the head, and it comes off very easily. And then we'll go ahead and grab that piece and just kind of, well, we need to put her arm in there first. So we'll get that in, and then there we go. Seems like it snapped in all the way. And there you go. Now you have Invisible Man Rey. I think it looks pretty good. It's nice that they gave us the option of being able to interchange the regular head with this. She also comes with her signature accessory, which is her staff, and it's got some nice paint detail on it. It is a little bit warped, as you can see, and it is the same one that came with the 3 3/4 inch scale Rey, though you do get extra paint with the Black Series version. You get her backpack that comes with her little water bottle there on the side, and this looks pretty good. I mean, it's a very basic looking pouch, but the fact that they painted the water bottle is pretty nice. And this does look like the same one that came with the other version of Rey, the basic 3 3/4 inch, the Force Awakens line. And I'll go ahead and bring her in so you can compare the backpacks. I think it's the same one. The straps do look a little bit more narrow to me. The pack itself looks to be the same, except for the painted detail of the water bottle on the Black Series version. But other than that, they seem to be the same. It's just for some reason the straps look a little bit more narrow on the new one. And to connect them, you basically just use those little circles and put them in place right there. I had a huge problem with the basic figure getting her to use the backpack because the holes were just too small and the little pegs on the backpack were way too bendy. That doesn't seem to be the case with this accessory. I'm happy that Hasbro corrected that and made the holes the proper size and made these so where they're very stiff so you don't have that problem, which is great. And now here's Rey decked out with all of her gear. She's got her desert scarf on, she's got her backpack, and she's got her staff. And overall, it looks really good. I'm really happy that they have all of these accessories in this set, and you can, position her like this on your shelf because it does look really good. But I do find that it is hard to get the backpack on there while she's wearing the scarf because you kind of got to, work a little bit in order to get it to fit properly. I mean, that's about as best as I can get, and it looks okay. But it is a little bit hard to get it on there. Other than that, though, I think this looks very nice. And here's a comparison of the Black Series Rey along with the 3 3/4 inch version that came packed with Rey's speeder. And the differences are quite stark. They are a little bit similar in terms of the overall aesthetic, but I think the Black Series one definitely looks better, especially in terms of paint detail. And of course, articulation is way better. There are some differences. You see the scarf on the Black Series version is a little bit lighter in color. The gloves are also a tan color, whereas in the other one, they're orange. And then the boots are a little bit lighter. The aesthetic on both of them is quite good, but I really do feel that the Black Series one edges out the one that comes packed with the speeder. Here's a comparison of the Black Series Rey along with the basic 3 3/4 inch version from the Force Awakens toy line. And I kind of feel like the proportions are a little bit better on the basic figure. Plus, she doesn't have the gloved hands, which I prefer. There's obviously more detail in the Black Series version, but I still feel like the proportions, for the most part, look a little bit more natural on the original release. The original one is also a lot more pale, as you can see, whereas the new one is a little bit more tanned. It may not be like a huge difference, but you can kind of see there in the legs that, the original one was just way too pale. And it looks better. I think the paint looks a little bit more, I want to say maybe pretty on the basic figure, but the Black Series one to me just looks a little bit more accurate. This one looks more like Keira Knightley. Here's a comparison with the 6-inch Black Series figure. And the 3 3/4 inch one does look quite nice,
but I feel that the 6-inch one just overall has better proportions and an overall better likeness to Daisy Ridley.
And then one final comparison with the basic Resistance Rey figure that was recently released. Now, if you are wondering whether or not this version of Rey can interact with the speeder, well, not really. And the reasoning for that is that the figure is just not really designed to interact with it, whereas you had the original one that came packed with it that had legs that were, sculpted in a somewhat wide stance, and the clothing didn't really get in the way of the legs. That's kind of the case here. It's just you have too much going on with the figure that kind of prevents her from flexing over enough to grab onto the controls. You can pose her just kind of on there or, standing in front of it if you wanted to, but as far as getting her to interact with the speeder, it's not going to work, which is a little bit of a bummer, but to me, it's definitely not a deal breaker. I certainly see why it doesn't interact that well with the speeder, so I can look past that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Star Wars, the Black Series, 3 3/4 inch scale Rey from the Walmart exclusive line of figures. Overall, you guys, I think it's a pretty good figure. It does leave a little bit to be desired, but it is nice. The likeness is okay. The paint is quite clean on the figure. I do think they tried to do a little bit too much in terms of giving Rey those rosy cheeks. It just doesn't really work. I think the paint could have been done in a way that made it look a little bit more like Daisy Ridley, because it's a decent likeness. I would say it is passable, but it doesn't look a whole lot like her. And I feel like the 6-inch version was a little bit more successful in that regard. I'm not a fan of the gloved hands. I really wish they would have given her just the basic hands. I see why they did it though. It's because she has the scarf. That way you can complete the desert look, but you're still not getting an all-out regular Rey figure. You're getting an all-out Jakku scavenger Rey, which I guess is okay so long that they do eventually release this figure by herself with the regular hands and maybe the lightsaber. The staff, it is painted a little bit nicely, but I really do feel that it should have worked a little bit better with Rey. The fact that they haven't changed the strap from the original release, which makes it very hard for her to carry it around. I think if they would have done like a soft goods strap, that would have been absolutely perfect. I don't dislike the figure by any means. I think it is a pretty good release, but there are just some things I would have preferred to have seen a little bit differently. Since it's so rare that we get these super articulated versions of our favorite characters, and the fact that they didn't go all out here just kind of makes me a little bit disappointed, since I'm not sure if they're going to do that in the future. I'm hoping that they will, but at this day and age, there's really no guarantees when it comes to Hasbro. On a scale from 1 to 10, I am going to go ahead and give Rey a solid 7. While the figure itself is a pretty nice attempt at doing a super articulated Rey figure, there is quite a bit left to be desired. If they would have given her the flesh hands, not made her so lanky, and made the joints all cohesive so that you don't have these weird colored joints in the knees or in the boots, I think I would have liked the figure quite a bit better. And I do like it, don't get me wrong. It's just not exactly what I would have hoped for. Alright my friends, if you enjoyed this video, then I do encourage you to please like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this Black Series Rey, what you think of all her accessories, and whether or not you're planning on picking her up. Be sure and follow me on Facebook and Twitter for the latest collecting news and updates. And as always, I want to thank you for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.